On the eve of talk of an impending U.S. strike on Syria, i24 News correspondent Swibel was in Erbil, Jordan last week, speaking with those injured by Bashar al-Assad's forces, Syrian refugees, and members of the Free Syrian Rebel Army. Here's what they had to say in this i24 News special report.
Endless chatter by the world community exists over the outcome of the civil war in Syria. Politicians throughout the world discuss and debate what or how things will happen next. People throughout the world push for or march against an involvement in this zero-sum game. Millions of Syrians are refugees, and over 110,000 are dead, with dozens more dying on a daily basis. Some have died as they walked getting groceries, some by gunfight in battle, and some by chemical weapons. But some have survived and continue the struggle. They are not Syrian terrorists, or to some, maybe they are, but they are alive to tell their story.
Yes.
They are healing in a hidden makeshift hospital somewhere in northern Jordan. And while most of these members of the Free Syrian Rebel Army wait to heal to eventually return to the battlefield, some, like this 17-year-old, wait to see if they will ever walk again.
He is a hero. Although he is a young man, very young man, when he came here, he can't say he hasn't a sense here. But now, every week, the sense to his leg became returned now.
I crossed the street to shoot the sniper. I wanted to shoot, but he shot me first. I wasn't ready. He was aiming at me, and after he shot me, I shot at him, but my bullet bounced back and hit me too. I was paralyzed after this. I fell down and tried to stand up, but the sniper continued to shoot at me. I got hurt. My two brothers were also hurt in battle, as well as my father.
He is 17 years. Also, he was with the fighters. He was with the fighters because he refused Al-Assad regime's behaviors. So he decided to face them. And he carried a Russian gun. We called it Kalashnikov. The sniper shot him in his back, and now he can't walk. Inshallah, after 2 months or 3 months, he will become okay.
Here in the town of Erbil, Jordan, exists makeshift hospitals similar to this building behind us, a very ordinary building that serves care and protection to different Syrian refugees, as well as Free Syrian Rebel Army soldiers who are injured in battle.
Every month we received during the Jordanian border about 300, 400, according to the situation inside Syria. At the beginning of the revolution, we refused to carry the weapons. Just we want to rebuild the government. They faced us with bombs, faced us with weapons. They behaved with us like gangs, not like government. They are not people, they are beasts.
I don't have experience in fighting. I wasn't in any army before. I fought because all of the children who had died, and the bad thing that took place, the death and destruction around us. I did it to defend my country. They can help us with weapons and with the injured people who were attacked by Bashar's army like me. I was in a dangerous situation. They threw me out of the previous Jordanian hospital because they had no more room. Inshallah, I would like to return to Syria.
Every rebel but one was supportive of a U.S. strike, or some sort of help from the international community. But most seem to think that no real help will arrive anytime soon.
If that happened to European people or to American people, is the world will be silent? No, I think no. We think that Obama is a liar. Europeans, leaders, are liars also. Because if they want to end the war in Syria and if they want to stop the massacre in Syria, they are able to end it in one day. Russia, Iran, Chinese, Korea, we consider them are enemies of the Syrian people. They are enemies of the Syrian people and Hezbollah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, these Syrians wait for answers or solutions and hope to return home one day and maybe even to heal. I24 News correspondent Danny Swibel, Irbid, Jordan.
And joining me right now here in the studios, our I24 News correspondent Danny Swibel. Good evening, Danny.
Thanks for having me, Lucy.
Danny, leaders are deciding, getting their minds, getting rules, understanding, getting to an understanding, but who's listening to the people? No one is listening.
Nobody. It's a big problem, and it's going to continue for a while. Listen, the fact that I even got to sit down with about 35 people, this makeshift hospital is not a hospital. It's just an apartment building. It's just an apartment building with 5 beds squeezed in each room. I was lucky enough to meet these 35 people, and they were just telling me their story. They were telling me of the carnage that they experienced. And all of them knew, I knew, everybody in the room knew that there was a good chance that they would be dead very soon. And so to hear their stories, it's something I won't forget. And they don't really understand fully the inner workings of Congress. They don't understand the difference of the different rebel groups, Al-Nusra. They've never met any people like this. They're just waiting for answers. They're not trained. They have old Russian guns. They're just waiting for the next step. And the thing is, it seems like for them, the next step is not going to come. They're just going to go back.
What do you think that they were actually hoping for a U.S. attack? From what we're seeing about Syria, and about the U.S. and Russia, and what is happening for the last 24 hours, it seems that it's not going to happen. So they're waiting for a revolution, but nobody's giving it to them.
Yes, they're waiting, they're waiting. They don't know. They know they don't want American boots on the ground. That's a given.
And
but
we have to just put something clear. It's not that we are hoping for a war. It's just that these people are not getting the help that they are needed.
Absolutely. They can't understand. They think, listen, these world leaders control so many things in the world, and one day they should be able to make peace. Some leaders should be able to come together and talk and fix things, and it could be peace. They can't understand why they have to continue this, in their minds, losing fight.
What do you think that will happen to these people? Because we saw that we are actually not putting their faces up on front, and we're not showing the faces of the people that you spoke with. What do you think that is going to happen with them?
The thing is, there's a good chance, and they think it too. They said it. Many of them said it. They think they're going to go back, and their lives are going to be at risk. They don't think they're going to make it long. They're lucky to even have made it to Jordan to be able to heal once. They don't see themselves coming to Jordan many times again. They see it as a losing cause unless something changes, but they'll still go back and fight. Even when they were still healing and bleeding, they were willing to go back immediately.
Yeah, like you said, leaders decide on a reality, but the reality is actually on the ground is totally different. I24 News correspondent Danny Swibel, thank you very much for this.
Thank you.